Imagine finally taking that dream vacation you have worked decades for. You are standing on your private balcony, the ocean breeze is in your hair, and you are watching the coastline fade away. It feels like absolute freedom, doesn't it? But there is a harsh reality that the glossy brochures and the smiling travel agents never tell you. The moment that ship crosses into international waters, the rules of your life change completely. For travelers over 60, a cruise ship isn't just a floating resort. It is a unique environment filled with hidden risks that simply do not exist on land. I'm not talking about bad weather or a little bit of seasickness. I am talking about financial traps that could wipe out your retirement savings in an afternoon, simple physics that can cause life-altering injuries in your own cabin, and new regulations that could leave you stranded at the pier before you even board. Now, before we dive deep into these waters, I need to make one thing crystal clear. Because the cruise world is vast. Every cruise line, whether you are sailing with Royal Caribbean, Holland America, or a luxury line, and every country you visit has its own specific set of rules. What we are covering today are the critical general dangers that affect the vast majority of senior travelers, but you must always check the specific policies of your chosen ship before you sail. If you think your Medicare card is going to save you, or if you think your balance is as good as it was 10 years ago, you need to keep listening. We are going to peel back the curtain on the 15 hidden dangers that catch seniors off guard, starting with the single biggest financial mistake that happens before you even finish your first cocktail. It starts with a false sense of security. You have your wallet, you have your ID, and you have your trusted health insurance card that has covered you for years. But here is the brutal truth that surprises so many travelers. Medicare steps off the ship when you do. The second your ship leaves the dock and heads out to sea, your government-sponsored health insurance is essentially a worthless piece of plastic. Most standard U.S. health plans, including Medicare, do not cover care on board a cruise ship. The medical centers on these ships are for-profit operations, and they charge private rates. A simple visit for a fever, a sprained ankle, or high blood pressure can instantly cost you hundreds or even thousands of dollars out of pocket. But that is the best-case scenario. The real nightmare begins if you have a serious incident, a heart complication, a stroke, or a severe fall. The ship's medical facility is not a hospital. They can stabilize you, but they cannot treat complex trauma long-term. That means you need to be evacuated. If you are in the middle of the ocean, that means a helicopter. Do you know how much a medical evacuation at sea costs? It can easily rival the price of a luxury world cruise, running into the tens of thousands of dollars, payable by you immediately. This is why veteran travelers and experts consistently scream from the rooftops that you must have comprehensive travel insurance that includes medical evacuation. Without it, you are literally gambling your life savings on the hope that your health holds up for 7 days. But let's say you are healthy. You feel great, and you are active. That brings us to a danger that is physically lurking right inside your bedroom. A danger so common, yet so overlooked, that it causes more accidents for seniors than almost anything else. It is the invisible enemy on the floor. I want you to picture your cabin door. Unlike the smooth transition between rooms in your house, cruise ship cabins have raised metal thresholds, thick steel lips at the doorway and the bathroom entrance. You combine that tripping hazard with the unpredictable movement of the ship, a sudden sway or a shift in the current, and you have a recipe for disaster. Falls are the most common accident for seniors on board. You might be walking across a freshly mopped deck, or just getting up to use the bathroom at night, and one misstep over that threshold can lead to a hip fracture or a severe sprain that ends your vacation instantly. The ocean does the rocking, not you. You have to learn to walk differently on a ship, holding the rails and taking your time, because your body's balance isn't what it used to be, even if you refuse to admit it. And speaking of your cabin, there is a terrifying phenomenon that sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, but it is pure physics. and it is dangerous. It's called the wind tunnel effect. Picture this. You want to enjoy the fresh sea air, so you prop your balcony door open to hear the waves. Then you hear a knock at the main cabin door. Maybe it's room service or a friend. You open the main door while the balcony door is still open. Instantly, a massive pressure differential is created. The air rushes through your cabin with the force of a gale. This suction can slam the heavy metal cabin door shut with enough force to break bones, or, in horrific cases reported by travelers, sever fingers. It sends papers flying, knocks lamps off tables, and creates absolute chaos. It happens in a split second. The rule is simple but critical. Treat your cabin like an airlock. Never, ever have both doors open at the same time. It's a mistake you only make once. But for a senior with slower reflexes, that one time can be catastrophic. Now, let's step out of the cabin and look at the ports you were so excited to visit. You booked this cruise to see the world, right? But did you check how you get ashore? This is the tender trap. Not every port has a dock big enough for your massive cruise ship. In places like Santorini, Grand Cayman, or Belize, the ship anchors miles offshore, and you have to board smaller boats, called tenders, to get to land. This sounds romantic until you are trying to step from a moving pontoon onto a bobbing boat in choppy water. For travelers with joint pain, reliance on a cane, or limited balance, this transfer is an obstacle course. It is a high-risk moment where a slip can mean falling into the water or crushing a limb between hulls. If you have mobility issues, you need to research your itinerary before you book. Some days the sea is just too rough, and staying on board is the only safe choice. Don't let the fear of missing out push you into a physical situation your body can't handle. Speaking of mobility, there is a shocking new development for 2025 that is already ruining trips for unprepared travelers. This is a brand new ban that is catching people off guard. If you rely on a wheelchair or a mobility scooter, even occasionally, you need to listen to this. Some cruise lines, particularly UK-based ones like P&O and Fred Olsen Cruises, have started enforcing strict rules. You cannot bring a wheelchair on board unless you have specifically booked an accessible cabin. They say it is for safety regulations, ensuring there are enough crew members to help during emergencies. But here is the problem. Accessible cabins sell out months in advance. If you book a standard cabin thinking, "I'll just fold my wheelchair and put it in the corner," you could be denied boarding at the pier with no refund. This is a game changer. You cannot just show up with equipment anymore. You have to declare it and book the right room, or your cruise ends before it begins. Let's move to something we all take for granted: our daily medications. You have your pill organizer, you have your routine. But a cruise ship messes with your internal clock in ways you don't expect. As you cross time zones, the ship's clock changes. If you are diabetic or on heart medication that requires strict timing, ship time can be dangerous. Taking your medication too early or too late because you are following the captain's clock instead of your body's rhythm can lead to health scares. Furthermore, the biggest mistake seniors make is packing their meds in their checked luggage. Luggage gets lost. It gets delayed. It sits on the dock in the rain. If your life-sustaining medication is in that bag, you are in trouble. The ship's medical center does not stock every prescription. Always, always keep your meds in your carry-on. Keep them in their original bottles to avoid customs issues, and bring extra doses for delays. While we are talking about what you put in your body, let's talk about water. It sounds so simple, but dehydration is a silent killer on cruise ships. As we age, our body's thirst signal becomes less reliable. We literally don't feel thirsty until we are already dehydrated. Combine that with the salty sea breeze, the hot sun, the air-conditioned dry air of the cabin, and maybe a cocktail or two, and you have a perfect storm. Fatigue and confusion in older adults are often just symptoms of severe dehydration. You might think you are just tired from the excursion, but your body is shutting down. You have to force yourself to drink water, not just when you are thirsty, but constantly. And be careful with that minibar water in your room. That is a financial trap. That bottle of water on the desk looks inviting, but it can cost you $7 or more. Stick to the ship's filtered water or drink packages, but keep drinking. And don't let the clouds fool you. This is another trap. The phantom sun. You look up, it's gray, it's overcast, so you skip the sunscreen. Big mistake. Up to 80% of UV rays penetrate cloud cover, and out at sea, that light reflects off the water and the white decks, hitting you from all angles. Senior skin is thinner and more sensitive. You can get severe burns without ever seeing the sun. And if you are taking certain medications for blood pressure or cholesterol, they can make you even more sensitive to sunlight. So wear the hat, wear the SPF 50, even if it looks like rain. Now, let's talk about a subject that is a bit taboo, but if you get this wrong, it will be the most embarrassing and expensive mistake of your life. The toilet. Cruise ship plumbing is not like your house. It operates on a vacuum system that is incredibly efficient, but incredibly sensitive. Seniors often bring comforts from home, wet wipes, biodegradable wipes, or medical pads. You might see flushable on the package, but that is a lie on a cruise ship. If you flush these, they do not break down. They clog the system. And not just your toilet, it can back up the sewage for your entire corridor or section of cabins. Imagine being the person responsible for flooding 5 cabins with sewage. The cruise line can identify exactly where the clog started, and they will charge you for the expensive repairs. Use the bin provided. Never flush anything but the ship's toilet paper.
Let's shift gears to your safety off the ship.
When you dock in those beautiful ports, you are excited to explore. But you need to know that you have a target on your back. Scammers and pickpockets in tourist hubs specifically target older travelers. Why? Because they perceive seniors as kinder, more trusting, and perhaps a bit slower to react. They use distraction techniques, spilling something on your shirt, asking for help with a map or a sudden commotion. While you are being a good Samaritan, someone else is emptying your pockets. Leave your expensive jewelry in the ship's safe. Don't carry all your cash. And be skeptical of overly friendly strangers in crowded port areas. Your kindness is your best trait, but scammers see it as a weakness. There is also a danger that comes from the ship's environment itself, specifically the temperature. This is the climate paradox. You pack for the sunny Caribbean port, throwing shorts and sandals in your bag, but you forget about the ship itself. Inside, the dining rooms, theaters, and casinos are heavily air-conditioned, often kept at freezing temperatures. Stepping from the humid, hot deck into a freezing theater creates a thermal shock. For seniors, these rapid temperature shifts can weaken the immune system or make you uncomfortable enough to ruin your evening. The seasoned traveler always packs layers. A light cardigan or jacket is essential, even on a tropical cruise. Another risk to your health is trying to enjoy too much. It's called buffet fatigue. You want to get your money's worth. You want to see the shows, eat the food, do the tours. But overloading your plate, literally and metaphorically, is dangerous. Your digestive system slows down as you age. Hitting the buffet and trying 5 different rich cuisines, spicy curry, steak, heavy cream desserts, all in one sitting is a shock to your system. Cruise doctors see so many seniors confined to their cabins with bloating, heartburn, and gastric distress because they ate like they were 20 again. Pace yourself. And pace your activities too. Exhaustion weakens your immune system, making you susceptible to the viruses that circulate on ships. Rest isn't wasted time. It's the fuel that lets you enjoy the next day. Now, here is a warning about something you might have used for years to help you sleep or relax. CBD oil. You might have a prescription. It might be legal in your state, It might be the only thing that helps your arthritis. But bring it on a cruise ship, and you are committing a crime. Cruise ships follow federal and international laws, not state laws. CBD products, even those for sleep or pain, are strictly banned on almost all major cruise lines. If security finds them in your luggage, they will be confiscated, you could be fined, and you could even be denied boarding. But it gets worse. If you take that CBD off the ship in a foreign port where drug laws are draconian, you could face arrest. Do not risk it. Leave the CBD at home. Another hidden risk involves the sheer size of modern ships. These vessels are floating cities, carrying 6,000 people. They are mazes of identical corridors and elevators. For seniors who might experience mild memory lapses or just a bit of confusion, getting lost is a real and stressful possibility. It's not just inconvenient, it creates panic. Wandering for 45 minutes trying to find your room when you are tired and need medication is terrifying. Learn the landmarks near your cabin. Take a photo of your cabin number and the artwork in your hallway. Use the ship's app. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Finally, there is a behavioral danger that can cost you time, money, and dignity. Skipping the safety drill. You might think, I've cruised 10 times. I know how to put on a life jacket. But maritime law requires 100% attendance at the muster drill. Modern technology tracks exactly who has done it and who hasn't. If you try to hide in your cabin or grab a drink instead, they will find you. They will announce your name over the loudspeaker. They can halt the ship's departure until you comply. And if you refuse, you can be fined or kicked off the ship at the next port. It is the one rule you cannot bend. Cruising is beautiful. It is the best way to see the world. But it requires a new set of survival skills, especially after 60. The ocean doesn't care how much you paid for your ticket. It demands respect. By being aware of these 15 dangers, from the financial shock of medical bills to the physical risks of the wind tunnel and the thresholds, you are taking control. You are ensuring that your golden years adventure remains a memory of joy, not a story of regret. So pack your travel insurance, watch your step on those thresholds, hydrate like your life depends on it, and close that balcony door. Safe travels, and enjoy the voyage you deserve.